Thanks for joining us on Plus TV Africa. I'm Lakbe Banjo. 8 people were killed at a mosque in northeast Nigeria on Monday when a suicide bomber detonated his explosives. Ibrahim Liman from the civilian militia force assisting the military in the fight against Boko Haram told reporters the blast happened in the Mainari area of Kondunga in Borno State. The male bomber walked into the mosque at about 5:15 a.m. while prayers were on and exploded the explosive, killing 8 worshippers and injuring 5 others. 7 of the victims died in the mosque, while another died on the way to the Borno State capital, Maiduguri. A PDP chieftain was killed on Saturday during a factional clash at a meeting in Igbo-Shuku village in Etiosa local government area of Lagos State. Mr. Borishade Adeniyi, the Apapa local government area chairman of PDP, died in hospital after being shot in the leg. 2 others injured in the clash are lying critically ill and in hospital. Sources said the state leadership of PDP was meeting with all the party's local government chairmen when the trouble started. A statement by the police spokesman, Chike Oti, a chief superintendent, said 5 local government chairmen of the party had been arrested over the matter. The Reformed All Progressive Congress, in a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Kasim Afegua, said on Sunday it was too late for President Buhari to reconcile aggrieved members with promises in order to stop their defection from the ruling APC. The APC faction stated that the Buhari government was not a promise keeper because it had not fulfilled what it had promised Nigerians during the electioneering in 2014 and 2015. The aggrieved members of the APC had, after the national convention of the party, formed a faction they called RAPC. They had alleged marginalization and injustice by the APC against them, even though the APC party national chairman, Adams Oshiomhole, in the past week has tried to reconcile aggrieved members. One of the PDP governorship aspirants in Osun State who contested the just concluded primary, Akin Ogunbiyi, has rejected the results of the election. Ogunbiyi told journalists on Sunday that the votes attributed to him at the poll were much lower than the votes he actually garnered. He vowed to seek immediate redress. The presiding officer of the election, Governor Dickson Seriake of Bayelsa State, whilst announcing the results on Saturday, declared that Ogunbiyi polled 1,562 votes and lost to Senator Ademola Adeleke, who polled 1,569 votes. The joint task force set up by the Lagos state government involving security agencies and stakeholders in the maritime sector have begun the process to remove all heavy-duty trucks and tankers parked along the Oshodi-Apapa Expressway. This has opened up the service lane in the axis. And speaking with the reporters after inspecting the progress of the operation in company of heads of security agencies and other stakeholders, Commissioner for Transportation Mr. Ladi Lawanson said the task force was able to free the road from Toyota to Mile 2 in a rigorous operation which lasted for 72 hours between Friday and Sunday. The operation also involved relevant unions with the maritime sector, amongst others. The Nigerian Press Organization and the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria have rejected the proposed Nigerian Press Council Bill 2018, describing it as unconstitutional. The NPO and the BON have alleged that the bill is aimed to criminalize journalism practice and incapacitate the media. In a statement signed by the president, Nigerian Press Organization Nduka Obagbena, he said that as regards the principles and tenets of the rule of law, the proposed bill falls short. It is unconstitutional and is actually sub judice, given that a case on the subject matter is still pending in the highest court of the land, the Supreme Court, in view of which the bill should not have been drafted in the first place. The statement further added that the bill sought to label the Nigerian media as taking the issues of ethics and self-regulation without seriousness. Malian troops killed 11 jihadists who had ambushed them in the center of the country in clashes that also left 1 soldier dead. The Defense Ministry said that the armed Tuareg group supporting the government also reported assailants and executed more than 20 people on Friday in a village in the northeast. The attacks highlighted the fragile security situation in the West African nation as it prepares to hold elections on July 29th, in which President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta is seeking a second term. The United States doubts whether South Sudan's President Salva Kiir and rebel leader Riek Machar have the leadership qualities needed to deliver peace to the country at war since 2013. The White House said on Sunday that peace talks last week in the South Sudanese capital Juba need to be more inclusive to succeed. The White House added that it will impose fresh sanctions on anyone who threatens the country's stability. The statement constitutes tough US language about South Sudan, a country whose independence in 2011 Washington backed after a war with Sudan lasted decades. The Ethiopian Prime Minister's Chief of Staff on Sunday said the countries must pursue multi-party democracy, what could be the latest in a series of momentous changes sweeping the country. The country allows competing parties, but all parliamentary seats are held by the Ethiopian People's Revolutionary Democratic Front, which has maintained tight control in the country of 100 million people since it fought its way to power in 1991. The ruling coalition has also presided over an economy that has grown faster than any other in sub-Saharan Africa over the past decade. Abiy Ahmed became Prime Minister in April, and since then the government has instituted reforms, including releasing political prisoners, diluting state control of the economy, and making peace with northern neighbour Eritrea. Libyan Coast Guard has intercepted 156 migrants in 2 separate incidents as they tried to reach Europe by sea, the Navy said. Navy spokesman Ayub Qasim said that Libyan Coast Guard stopped a rubber boat carrying 116 migrants, including 5 women, off the western Libyan town of Zuwara. He said that the migrants from different African nationalities had been transported to a sea base in the capital Tripoli. Authorities in Uganda have confirmed the killing of 3 Ugandan People's Defence Force soldiers attached to a customs base near the border with Democratic Republic of Congo at Pelele village. Police said the soldiers attached to the Vura Customs Army base in Arua district were suspected of robbery with violence. Police in Arua identified the dead soldiers, who were reportedly intercepted by a mob after a cyclist sounded an alarm indicating that they had plotted to rob him. The West Nile police spokesperson, Miss Josephine Angusia, said it was still not clear what soldiers were doing 8 kilometers away from their base. Fighters of the Al-Shabaab group attacked a military base with a suicide car bomb in the south of Somalia, killing 27 soldiers. The attack follows a June attack on the base by Al-Shabaab that wounded 7 soldiers. The group is currently battling to topple the central government and impose its rule based on its own strict interpretation of Islam's Sharia law. There was no immediate comment from government officials about the attack on the base in Bar Sanguni. And when we return, we'll be bringing you the latest on the deadly Toronto shooting and updates on the US-Iran psychological warfare and more. Don't go anywhere. Back, a gunman opened fire on a busy avenue in Toronto, killing a young woman and injuring 13 other people, one of them critically ill, and police have reported that the victim critically injured in the Canadian city's Greektown district is a girl of 8 or 9. The suspect is dead, reportedly killed in an exchange of shots. The attack happened on Danforth Avenue on Sunday evening, when the area was teeming with people. Iran will resist the US President Donald Trump's psychological warfare, a senior commander of Iran's elite Revolutionary Guards was quoted as saying on Monday. He said, and I quote, "We will never abandon our revolutionary beliefs. We will resist pressure from enemies. America wants nothing less than to destroy Iran, but Trump cannot do a thing against Iran." Iranian President Hassan Rouhani said on Sunday that Trump's hostile policies towards Tehran could lead to the mother of all wars, according to a report by state news agency. Trump reacted in a late Sunday night Twitter message written in capitals, telling Rouhani to never ever threaten the US again or face the consequences. French President Emmanuel Macron has ordered a staff shake-up after a video emerged showing his sacked aide beating up a protester, officials say. Under growing pressure, Mr. Macron gathered several ministers together on Sunday to discuss the row. Alexandre Benalla, who was Mr. Macron's top bodyguard, is seen dragging away a woman and then beating a man during May Day protests in Paris. He has been charged with group violence and illegally wearing a police badge. Mr. Benalla was fired on Friday. And we'll take the business report shortly after this break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. And in business, as 2019 elections approach, the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria is keen on ensuring that more foreign capital flows into the economy. This is aimed at putting a check on capital flow. According to reliable sources from the Economic Intelligence Unit of a Nigerian bank, the MPC, which will be meeting today and on Tuesday, will not change existing policy rates. The EIU has also said that monetary policy rates will still remain at 14%, while cash reserve requirements will also be retained at 22.5%. Others include liquidity ratio at 30%, while foreign exchange policy will be maintained. Analysts at AfriVest Limited said their position is on a balance of factors between careful analysis of sustained positive condition, alongside emerging market risks and continued disinflation amid steady but weak growth momentum. The Consumer Price Index, used to measure inflation by the National Bureau of Statistics, has shown a decrease by 11.23% in June against the 11.61 recorded in May. This is a 0.37% point less than the rate recorded in May and represents the 17th consecutive disinflation since January 2017. Increases were recorded in all classification of individual consumption by purpose divisions that yield the headline index. On a month-on-month basis, the headline index increased by 1.24% in June, up by 0.5% points from the rate recorded in May 2018. The European Union lawmakers have rejected the UK's negotiating position regarding the UK's financial services firms' access to the European market. This comes with rising concerns that the proposal would endanger the bloc's decision-making autonomy. Michel Barnier, the EU chief negotiator, also rejected Theresa May's proposal, which she had submitted earlier in June in a white paper. The model proposed a system of joint governance and a safeguard for acquired rights, thereby preventing the UK's access to the EU financial services market from being easily cancelled. According to Barnier, it would violate the principle that access rights to the bloc's financial services markets, amongst others. Central bankers and finance ministers have said that risks facing the global economies are rising as trade war continues to build. Finance chiefs from the various world advanced economies after the G20 meeting in Buenos Aires have also cautioned that growth is becoming less synchronized. According to the communiqué which was declared, global economic growth remains robust and unemployment is at a decade low. Concerns, however, is that growth has been less synchronized recently and downside risks over the short and medium term have increased. The G20 meeting, however, ended with calls for better dialogue to prevent trade disputes. Still ahead on Plus TV News is our roundup on sports and entertainment. We'll be back in a moment.
In entertainment, popular Ghanaian rapper Sarkodie has tied the knot with his long-term girlfriend, Tracy, in a private wedding ceremony. The ceremony was celebrated by close friends and family in Ghana, and Juliet Ibrahim, Peter Okoye, Jocelyn Dumas, and many others were in attendance. The couple already have a daughter. Following reports that American rapper Migos' Offset was arrested in Georgia after police found at least one weapon in his car. The rapper appeared in front of a judge at Atlanta courthouse and was released on bail of $17,000 on Sunday. The rapper and his wife both took to their social media platforms to announce his release. Cardi B reassured everyone that the rapper was not on probation. American rapper Tekashi 6ix9ine has been hospitalized following an incident that involved him being kidnapped, pistol-whipped, and robbed. Reports say he was stalked by 3 men after his session in a music studio before he was kidnapped and knocked unconscious with a pistol. The 3 men were said to have requested money and jewelry and told 6ix9ine that if he didn't cooperate, they would kill him. A short while later, he was driven back to his home where he was guarded by one of his stalkers, while the 2 others went in and stole jewelry worth $750,000 and between $15,000 and $20,000 in cash. A stranger helped call 911, after which he was taken to a hospital where he's currently undergoing various tests, including a CT scan. And that's it on entertainment. The very best in sports right after this.
Hello and welcome to Sports Update on Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko with the biggest stories in the world of sports. Long jump star Luvo Manyonga and race walker Lebokang Shanke were the best of a large South African contingent at the 11th leg of the IAAF Diamond League Series, which held in London, England over the weekend. On Sunday, Manyonga and countryman Rushwa Samai closed off the 2-day meeting in fine style by taking a 1-2 finish in their specialist discipline. And Manyonga produced a meeting record of 8.58 meters to take the win, while Samai finished second with a season's best of 8.42 meters jump, with both athletes leaping beyond 8.20 meters from 5 of their 6 attempts. And in football, Germany midfielder Mesut Ozil has effectively closed the door on international football, citing criticism from the media and the German Football Federation president that struck him as racist. In a statement posted on Twitter, Ozil, a German of Turkish descent, said that he will no longer be playing for Germany, whilst I have this feeling of racism and disrespect. And the German National Football Association, the DFB, did not carry the news of the playmaker's retirement on its website or social media accounts. And Ozil says he received criticism from German media after meeting Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan in May and in London alongside his German teammate, Manchester City's Ilkay Gundogan, who is also of Turkish descent, and Turkey's Cenk Tosun, who plays for Premier League club Everton. And still on football, the Spanish Super Cup between Barcelona and Sevilla will be played as a single match in Morocco, the first time it has been played outside Spain. The match will kick off at the Stade IBN Batuta in Tangier on Sunday, the 12th of August at 9 p.m. The Super Cup has always been played over 2 legs, one at each club's ground until now. And Barcelona won last season's domestic double and faced Sevilla, who they beat in the Spanish Cup final. And this will be Barcelona's 9th time in the Super Cup in 10 seasons. And that will be all on Sport Update on Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko.
Thanks, Udoka. And that's our news roundup of events. We'll be back later with more stories making the headlines. Do join us. I'm Lakwe Banjo. Have yourself a great afternoon.